Fine. Let us commence the session. So already Gayatri ma'am have covered you the major aspects of input stream. I am going to discuss some of the places where they are left over and the concepts which has to be used in the further stages of input stream. So those things that we are going to discuss today. Normally, the input stream is being taken care for input devices that is being you are well known from your block diagram of computer, right? But are we using this input stream effectively? That's a very big question. How many of you have utilized this input stream apart from keyboard and mouse? I think you have come across various programming languages from your schooling, right? Apart from mouse and keyboard, have you used your input stream for any other devices? That's the big question, right? So keep it in mind. So based upon the theory we are going to discuss, but after our recap session, we will play again on the same pitch. So respond your answers in the chat. Which of these is used to perform all input and output operations in Java? You have only fundamental questions to test you. Right? What would be the best option? Post it in the chat. No options. You want to see your options, right? What could be the best option for this? Post your answers in the chat. Yes? A. Okay. So ultimately it is going to be streams, right? But I want to give you a concurrency here. This MCQ could be seem to be something called a nonsense, right? Because the rest of the three options are being reflected their entry like that. But what made them to give that? Because for receiving input, for displaying the value in the output, we are using variables, right? That make it sense. Classes, right? Classes also used for communication via objects. Okay, classes are communicating via objects. Methods, they are also being communicated via the parameters or arguments. Okay, ultimately variables again. Even I can pass a method also as a class also again a parameter. In C and C++, I can pass structure as a parameter. Okay, so that's also being applicable. That is the reason why B, C, D options also has been given over there. But pertaining to Java, they have given on a lighter scale streams, right? So this is a type of stream in Java. I think yesterday Gayatri ma'am have shown you a diagram. Third slide or fourth slide might be after your MCQs. Which could be the best option for this? C. Yes, that could be the answer. But why? Is it anything relevant to data type? That's a major question. Okay. Because byte is a data type in Java, so for a byte we are having the stream. What about short, long, and integer? Why don't they have the streams? That's the idea, right? Why? Might be a right answer is byte stream, but why they don't have those streams, right? Because the data types are purely used for derivative and wrapper classes. A, B, D, right? They are derivative and wrapper classes. Only byte stream that could be able to behave like a data type in the middle level language like C. Okay, so that is the reason why the term byte. As well as what is mean by stream, flow of data. This is called a stream. Okay, So basically the level 1 understanding, level 0 is of electronic signals. Level 1 understanding of my data will be in, or the basic unit of data in computer language will be bit. Okay, bit. So that is the reason why the data type byte was developed. This is the main reason why we are going to talk about today about other devices apart from keyboard and mouse. And the second thing is also there. Communication or propagation delay happening between IO devices are completely cut short through this byte stream. That is a major advantage in Java. Okay, I'll tell you while on discussion. Each of these classes are used by byte streams for input and output operation. Yes, options are which one? Something. It's nerd, right? Any options? Post it as A, right? So you have the level of intake for this topic is restricted. Ultimately, it's input stream only, right? Because rest of things that you have not come across, you don't know what is read and it is relevant to something on file and input IO stream, input output stream. You don't have type of stream. Right? So ultimate thing is input stream only. That's what yesterday being covered over on the. Each of these classes used by character streams for input and output operations. Character streams, right? Remember the term character streams. Character stream is what is mean by character here? Anyone? What is a character they are ready to mention here? Anyone? What does the term character means here? Any one of you? Okay, what would be the option? Later I'll tell you. People are coming with a B. Yes. But what does it mean actually? Once you understood the question actual way that you could able to respond. What is the term character? The representational code that you are using for your bit. That is what character here. See, I think in DPSD you are coming across in some codes, right? BCD, binary coded decimal, or XS3 code, or high level understanding for us, we are having ASCII code, EBCD, ICD code, right? So we are having various representation of my bit is available, right? Using that code, I will represent a character that represents this character. Okay, so the next level of byte is going to be my characteristic. Actually, the character represents in my hardware architecture how byte is represented. Whether I am representing this any of the hardware codes. This is in level 2. There are two category will be there. Category 1 will talk about these types of codes relevant to my hardware, BCD or XS3 or EBCDIC, right? So these types of codes. In that, in the same shell, I am having the next level. That is called am I using ASCII code or I am using UTF? Okay, UTF. So that is also the next level of understanding. I am having my own code for representational code for my native language. Okay, if you take Tamil, for Tamil we have the corresponding UTF. See, this UTF become very famous once the version of more softwares are being produced Especially, I think Java have taken the first step on this UTF. Okay, so rest of the open sources later only they discovered to move for this UTF, right? Because if we move for China, Korea, and other related countries, they have their production, they have their learning, engineering learning purely in their native language only. Okay, so in that case, even technical specifications of any content also will be based upon their native language only. That is the reason why UTF is very famous in those countries. Okay, still we are not be on the first scale to use UTF. Right? Can any one of you could be able to write a complete program in Tamil or complete program in Telugu that could be understood by your JDK? Have you tried that? Any one of you? Have any one of you have got that sense? Have you tried writing a complete program in Python using your native language? Have you tried that? Yes. If not, you just uh, go on later on that. You could able to identify what are all the difficulties that you are going to face. How the difficulties are being revoked by your UTF. UTF will help you a lot. Okay. So there are a lot of things that has to be done over on translators, right? Because the translator is only doing high level language to low level language, right? Streams have a major role in the translator job. So please have an idea. See, Java have given you specification directly to work on the streams. That's the major thing because C is a middle level language that is ready to discover with my hardware directly. That's the flexibility for my C language. But pertaining to Java, when Java had get into the field of mobile applications or mobile hardware, they started understanding the influence of C. That is the reason why whenever they are going to release any new versions on their APIs, they make sure that they have an option to interact with the hardware also, right? Just if you have gone through the Oracle University website or Oracle Education website, you could able to find out the updates of recent JDKs. If you open any JDK, they will give you two tabs. One tab for API and the document release. If you click on API tab, at the last they will give you a portion to understand that it can be utilized in MDEs, right? Mobile device emulators, like this they will be giving that. If you take that, the sub-level functions available in that APIs, which will be readily react with the streams and all, right? So that could be the flavor. Even I will show you today a stream API also. Each of these class is used to read from byte array. I think today you would be educated on this. Each of these class is used to read from byte array. How to read data from the byte array? That's the question. What would be the best option? Byte array input stream, right? What about the input stream, buffered input stream, array input stream? Why they are not be the answers for this? We don't have any array input stream, so it's cut. Input stream is the base class for all these things, right? It is a raw stream. I cannot able to work with a byte, right? Second one, buffered input stream. Buffered input stream is the next level of input stream. So it is not again that will handle only raw data. Okay, raw data along with your buffer. That is the major difference. That is the reason why, since we are working directly with that, byte array input stream is possible. So that's the case, right? Filter input stream. That's what we are going to see today. See, my question will be like this. Apart from keyboard and mouse, when you are going to work with the other input devices, how your stream will be handled? What are all the support you have? Okay, so that could be the major case. Even what you are going to see today, initially we will be seeing with the methods, classes and constructors, but later you could be able to see You have a ready-made API. No need to worry about more number of conventional way of writing the program. So within like Python, within 3 to 4 lines of programs, you could be able to complete a stream. You could be able to read the data from the stream. Okay. So that could be the major case. I will tell you the facts later about the filter input stream, right? So filter input stream is one of the derived class of input stream, right? So here what we are doing, using the file constructor, I am referencing a file testout.txt, which is available in the D drive. Okay. I am passing the file object to my file input stream class. The reason behind this one is file input stream could be the one that could be able to read data from the file. That is the reason why I am using file input stream. Okay. Second content. You could be able to see we are using a filter here, right? An object filter. This is the content that we are going to actually I am not using filter here. There is no much difference that what are the programs you have seen yesterday and today. Actually, am I using filter in this program? No, I am not using the filter. I am using this one as a normal input stream. How to use filter, I will show you in the later demonstrations. Okay, so here I am creating my filter, and that filter is going to assume like a container. Okay, an empty container. Already data is available in the container. That container is called buffer. Okay, so from hard disk, the data available on the file is being transformed into the buffer. Buffer is a temporary storage area. Okay, from the buffer I am going to take the data and display it in the console. This is the job this program is doing. Okay, from hard disk I could not be able to see till now. You will be seeing like by running a program you will see the output, right? That would not be the case. Actually, for all the programs, this type of process will happen behind the screens, but we don't mind about that. But this program will narrate you all the steps clearly, right? First, I am going to reference a file. After referencing a file, that file will be opened for stream. That is what file input stream. Now file is opened. Once file is opened, the data will flow because it's a stream, right? The data will flow from the file and fill into the container. That container is called a buffer. Okay. So from the buffer, because while it's going to flow, I don't have any idea on that, right? So once it is going to be displayed on the console. So how I am displaying in the console using system.out.print. That is the one which is ready to display in my console window. So what is the job of my filter? While the data is traveling from buffer to console, filter is like, assume that you are having a net, right? A mesh. So the mesh has been kept over on the container, right? So for example, I think you could be able to see when the kitchen, when your mom or dad, when they are going to soak the boiled chana. So what they will do? So from cooker they will transfer to a mesh. So all the water will go down. Only the chana will remain in the mesh. Likewise, only here, the mesh is nothing but this filter here. Okay, via the filter, only the necessary data need to reach the console. But here I am not using the mesh properly for this program, only demonstrative purpose. See, I am having a mesh. Assume that it is like a 8x8 grid. Via the grid, the data is flowing outside and it is going to be displayed. But what is the filter will check? Filter will check whether all the data from buffer have reached or not, reached the console or not. It will check via -1. What does that mean, -1? Whether my buffer is empty. If you want to say in a high-end level, it represents EOF. What is EOF? End of file. Whether I have reached the last line in the last character in the file. Right? I could be able to check that. That is the reason why they have given -1. Okay. So filter dot read. I am reading the buffer and I am getting into the console. While I am going to display, see that the stream is coming in terms of byte only here. Actually, I am converting into character, right? I am doing typecasting. Okay, So by typecasting, I am going to get the actual character, the representation which was known to me. This is what we have discussed in third MCQ, right? So how you will understand what type of character representation in your environment that we are going to use. Okay, so that could be the major explanation for this program. So while I'm going to display this, what is available within this file? Already I have typed welcome to RIT within this file. Once I am going to execute this program, in my console, in the black screen, that I could be able to get this output. What is the output? I will get welcome to RIT. This is the understanding of the content. But I will tell you students, in this program, we have not used the filter as a filter. We have used it like a pathway, that's all. We have not used it as a filter. I have not filtered anything here, right? How to use this filter effectively? I will tell you through API. Because while these types of method level filters or class level filters are being introduced, I don't have any such type of mechanisms. I have to write my own code. For example, in the buffer, I am having 1 to 10 numbers are there. I have to filter only odd numbers, and I have to pass only even numbers. Drop while, take while. Likewise, you have some APIs are available, right? I could be able to do such a type of things in the byte level itself. See that? See, still now students, you are working in the high level, right? High level means the data which is completely understood by my compilers. That's what high level. So now we are working in the next level. That means which is relevant to my architecture, which is relevant to my CPU, which is relevant to my microprocessor, microcontroller. So in that case, these things will play a vital role, right? That's the actual usage of filter. For example, I have conveyed. You can customize it, right? When you are going to design for your gaming device, how can you customize this filter? Right? When I'm going to design this filter for my space application, okay, so I'm going to do some research on the life validity of a Metroid. In that case, the necessary and unnecessary data being received from my the corresponding transponders. So how to filter the necessary data and unnecessary data? Those things can be done through my filter. So that much effective content we have on filter, right? We could able to use it. I'll show you the API. Okay. What are all the methods available here? See, these are all the methods supported for this filter input stream available, right? So what could be the number of bytes that you are eligible to read from that? That's what the method available will do. Okay, this read method is it is ready to read the data from the corresponding buffer, from the corresponding stream. Okay, so the next one is I'm passing an argument as a byte array. So what does it mean? Only the limited length of byte. So the difference between the second method and third method is that you don't have any restriction on the size of data that what you are going to read. But here, the size of data what you are going to read is going to be restricted depending upon the maximum range of my byte. What is the range of byte? Refer the table in my presentation. What is the range of my byte? For the byte, what is the high end range and low end range? I have given you a range, right? So within that range only you could be able to read. That's the major difference between read and read of byte of B. Right? Skip. Right? Skip. See, this is the method that we have to use when we are going to use my filter. Right? Are we using it? No, we are not going to use. We don't have any provisions to use as such of now with classes that what I have given. It is only on the theoretical basis only, right? So it is used to skip over and discards n bytes of data from input stream. For example, it is having some 10 records. I need only 5 records from that. I have to omit the first 5 records and I need 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. In that case, I can mention this, right? If I'm going to mention the mention as 5 means, so first 5 records will be omitted. So next from 6 to 10 only will be transferred from buffer to my console. Okay, so likewise I could be able to do that. Next, mark supported. Okay, so this is like an indicator. Okay, it's like an indicator. See, I think to understand the method mark supported, you must know mark first. Okay, what is the purpose of the mark actually? So currently uh, where my pointer is pointing in the buffer. See, if it is a console, you could able to see your cursor will blink. If it is a file, means once you open the file, the cursor pointer will come to the first position. But what about the buffer? Buffer is a temporary storage area created for the corresponding device. So in that case, how you will identify the this pointer or cursor? It is invisible, right? For that case only, this mark will mention me. This mark method will help me through its reference that this is the place currently it is ready to point, right? It's like a pointer to mention over on that, right? It will return me up to this you could be able to read. Likewise, right, from this to this end the data is available, right? If you want to validate this mark method, you can check with the UIF -1. See up to which mark that I could be able to read here. By default it will get to be executed. Likewise, in a buffer, whether do I have mark or not, whether I have limit or not, that will be checked through my mark supported method. Okay, that will be checked through my mark supported method. That is the major idea on mark. It is going to return true or false, right? If already I am having that indication, right, up to this you could be able to read, up to this you could be able to transfer to the corresponding stream. So likewise, if it is available or not, that can be identified through mark supported, right? So reset, this is the major one that you need to concentrate. Reset means it is ready to reset the input stream. Likewise, they have conveyed, but it's not like that. For example, see, I have asked you a question already. See, have you used any other device apart from mouse and keyboard? In supermarkets, you could be able to see there is a barcode reader, right? There could be a barcode reader. That is the input device again. Actually, it reads the content from the product and it is ready to display it in my console, right? So if the reader is going to be hanged, what they will do? They will unplug from their USB and again they will insert. This is hard reboot. Okay. Actually, we have the reset mechanism will be available. So through that reset mechanism only, it need to be reset. That's the reason why for high-end scanners, you could be able to see there is a button will be available in the scanner itself. Once they press the button, by default, the code which is available in the scanner itself, it will make it to reset. Okay, so again the stream will get to flow over on the corresponding device. So in that places, a reset method will work. Right. So close means I don't have any data. That means my filter will be closed. I don't have anything to transfer. I don't have anything to receive. Filter will be closed. Buffered input stream. Actually, you had an idea here. Buffered input stream. See, from in the filter input stream, you have your file. From the file, it will come to the buffer. But this buffered input stream, you can use it for any devices, right? You can use it for any devices directly. See, even I can read it from a file, or I can read it from a device, any device. Every device has its own buffer. Please remember, keyboard is having a buffer, mouse is having a buffer, right? Printer is having a buffer, monitor is having a buffer. Every device in the computer is having a buffer that can be programmed. How C is very famous on managing hardware. The reason is C have direct functions to interact with all these buffers. That is the reason why C is a middle level language. Okay, Java is moving in the trend nowadays because yeah, IoT is occupying our entire home, right? That is the reason why Java is also coming into the picture. So to read from any device, this buffered input stream can be used. Please understand that. To read from any device, the difference between filter input stream and buffered input stream is filter input stream that you can create a mesh on the buffer. That is the major difference. Buffered input stream means either you can have your mesh or not. That is up to your interest. That is the major difference between filter input stream and the buffered input stream. But in the buffered input stream, you can activate the buffer of any device when you are going to use this program, right? You cannot be able to directly take the data to console. If you are going to use this buffered input stream, you will take the data from the buffer of the respective device, right? Here you are taking the data from the hard disk. Hard disk has its own buffer, right? So from that only you are taking the data and display it in the console, right? So that could be the explanation for it. Here also the same file that we have done. I think this These examples will give you the stretch idea. Actual applications will be something different, right? To understand your theoretical aspect only, it has been projected. We have two constructors on this, on the input stream, right? I could be able to mention as an input stream, as well as I could be able to mention the input stream along with its size. So what could be my buffer size, depending upon that. When the buffer size is going to reach, what will happen? It will throw an exception. So you have to write your exception handling also along with this. That is the reason why when I'm going to use buffered input stream for getting values, I will write along with my exception handling, right? That is the reason why. So when you are going to mention size in the buffered input stream, please have a note on that. You have to use exception handling. Have an idea. And these are all the methods. What are all the methods that being supported for my filter input stream? Most of them will support with some more variations. So here you could be able to see the read method. There is a difference. Byte, offset, length. I can mention or I can customize my length from which place to which place I need to read. I could able to give it. Right? So that's a sophisticated concern that I could able to give. And here also you have that skip, mark supported, reset. So everything is being available. The important facts about this buffered input stream, right? To make the mechanism, see, we have mentioned that performance fast. See that when you are going to use buffer, ultimately performance will be fast. On all devices, when you are going to employ buffer, don't think that, see, while transferring from A to B, A, buffer of A, B, buffer of B. A will deposit the data in buffer of A. From there, buffer of B will take the data from buffer of A. That's all. A and B will not communicate directly. Only buffers of A and B will communicate. That's it. That's the reason why it is being fast. Okay. So, and also a point I want to mention here, internal buffer automatically refilled from the contained input stream. No need to program. When we are going to use buffered input stream class will manage its refilling. That is the main idea. Third point, internal buffer array size is create. They have mentioned nothing but this is the method that which is ready to mention. Mark that could be identified. That is the term that here they want to mention. Okay. So next level is data input stream. So now we are coming for higher level. Okay, higher level. We are ready to understand the data input stream. Still now we worked in the stream. Stream is nothing but the byte. Next after the byte, we are going to work with the corresponding character. So next level we are going to give the general notion on data input stream. Right? I could be able to count the size of data or whatever may be. I could be able to interpret it directly for my corresponding data type, and I could be able to use it. Right? So even I am going to display like with my own characters also. Actually, I am having welcome in my file, but between welcome, I am introducing my own characters and displaying these values. Okay. So these are all the methods available in this. See here, you could be able to understand. I could be able to read my high-level data types directly. See, when the methods are increasing from low level to high level, when the classes are increasing from low level to see for filter input stream, I don't have much more sophisticated methods. For buffered input stream, I don't have sophisticated methods to use. But while I'm coming for my data input stream, see the byte signal to byte bit to character. Next character to I am going to work with the direct data type, right? I am going to take the data as a data itself. I don't have any eyes on to work with low level data, right? Directly I could be able to work with my data type. That what I need to work with. I can read a character, I can read a double, I can read a boolean. So here they have mentioned UTF. Even I could be able to read a native language data. That is also being provided here. Okay. And this is the one that I want to introduce here. Console. Console is also a class, but it is apart from your what do you call your regular input. I think you will be using scanners, right? People started using scanners. Even this could be a feature you could be able to convey, right? Console. I think from the JDK 1.5 onwards, this feature is available in Java. So using this console class, I could be able to read a string. I could be able to read a string and I could be able to display it using. So the class console will help me to read the data from the device. See, the reason to put this console here is we are talking about input stream. That is the reason why I have introduced this class here, console. So console class is also ready to help me to get the uh, data from the user. Okay, so this simple program is enough. And this console will have something called how we will use in web-based languages, web-based packages. For example, I have some customized Java beans are available. For example, if we want to receive a text box that contains only numbers, how could I restrict? The type of logics are already built in and available in this console. See that? To read a password, this is a program using the console class. I'm having a method called read password. The password will be stored in a character array, right? The character array will be converted into a string. That string value will be stored in the string variable pass. That's it. That is this program. See that enter password colon. While I'm going to type, password will be invisible. Actually, I'm typing 123. Okay, actually the password is 123. The output has been displayed. But while I'm going to type, that 123 will not be visible when I'm going to use my read password method, which is the method of console class, which is a data member in my which is a member function in my console class. So when I'm going to use my read password method, what will happen? Ultimately, it will not display what I am typing, right? So that feature is available in this console class. This is this is what API that I want to focus here, right? Stream API. These Stream APIs are available from JDK 1.8. Okay, from JDK 1.8 onwards, these APIs are available. Stream APIs, actually, these Stream APIs are available in the util package itself. So see that the stream consists of a data which is ready to flow from 1 to 10. That I could able to filter the stream and I could able to get the data. That filter can be fixed in the iterate method itself, right? In the iterate method itself. Okay, here I have used my lambda expression in Java, so please understand. So within that stream iterate, I could able to mention within the method itself. I have mentioned like my starting position is 1, that I am going to travel up to 10. So depending upon my indexing position that I am going to move. So I tends to I star 3, right? Depending upon that, only those values will be displayed. First one will be displayed. Multiples of 3 is going to be projected over there, right? So that could be the case. This is the stream filter, right? We have seen filter input stream in the corresponding entry. This is the stream filter. So this is what I want to introduce you. Are we using the filter like this? See that actually this is a concept that I think you need to come across, called collections, right? But we already run over on that. There is a class called product. In the product, we are having 3 entries: ID, name, price. That's all. These are all 3 things. We are initializing those things in the class. That's it. This is what's happening. I am passing the values of these things from the main method using the list. List is the built-in data structure. Okay, I am adding all the data, right? The ID. Like this, I am adding 5 records in the corresponding list. See the stream. Last line. Product list dot stream. I could able to apply my filter here, right? I am See, these types of APIs are available here. This is not available in my buffer level. Do you understand? This is not available in my buffer level. The buffer level filter is enhanced up to this level. That's what the stream API, that what we are going to use here. So if I'm going to filter this, what will happen? So greater than 30,000, what is the price I have? I think I have 90,000. So I will get the data. That's it. Map is here again. You are having a data structure, right? Map. So that will be that is ready to work only for the corresponding constraint what I have filtered. So only it will map to that corresponding price. So 90,000 will be stored over on that. So by that it will iterate for all the list available in the corresponding entry. Finally, it will come and display this. So the condition which will match for filter is only 90,000. Rest of them are neglected. The filter have neglected this. That's all. So the filter can be used like take while and drop while, right? So that is the case. Still, we can discuss more on stream API, right? But I think time doesn't permit. We'll stop here. Do you have any concerns to quote? Please quote here. And again, a reminder for every one of you,